Cottman, Crawford, and the Jersey Guy Podcast.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. How's it going? Keny Cottman.
Louis Crawford.
Tom Ramage, the Jersey Guy.
Excellent. So what's going on, fellas? How's
Not much, bro. How you doing?
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Had to work this morning because so everybody that's listening to us, we had some sleeting rain, snow, little accumulation over here in the Northeast. So had to get up this morning and go plow. I was pissed.
Nice.
For nothing, because it's fucking already 45 degrees
Right,
outside.
it was going to warm up anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna melt.
But, they have to do it, I guess, for, why. They have to, for safety reasons.
Whatever. I want to get up for that shit, man. Hello, that phone ringing. I don't want to get up.
Right, because you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Saturday, you're just sleeping.
Yeah, was it bad by your house? Because you live further in.
I got rain last
No
night.
way.
It was all rain. No snow at all.
Yeah, we got
It's funny,
here I
just
got
that-
ice,
Yeah.
and then snow and ice, and then it was crazy. It was just, and then rain.
It's funny, just
So-
that distance, because you're a little bit behind. I'm in a higher elevation. Usually, a lot of times, I'll get snow when other people don't.
Right.
But I think it was like a 3-degree difference that made, it was like 36 last night. And so it dropped down,
That's right, because, you are higher. That's
Yeah,
bogus, man. Because where I am,
We're higher, technically.
are we?
Yeah, than him.
Yeah.
New York's above Jersey, so
Well, yeah.
even though,
I said the other time.
I'm in the
that's
higher
true.
end of Jersey because I'm not at sea level. I'm definitely above.
yeah, I know, but I guess it depends, like you said, too, where it falls out on. Also, as far as how that
Strange.
weather,
Mhm.
that stream comes through, it could just be, getting certain parts of that state and another one not.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Insane. So, make sure you're off.
Yes.
off.
I just thought about it now. Like, okay, we'll do it on the air.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
sure your phone is off.
Make sure your devices are off.
Yeah,
While
like the
on the
airplane.
air.
So, our listeners, we today are going to speak on fetishes and kinks.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun topic.
Yeah.
Yes. We're not going to, just so that the listeners don't get too excited, we're not going to so much just
Right,
talk
but-
about our stuff. Like,
No, we're not getting into any personal things. We're we're just curious about the differences, and because we can mistakenly ourselves think that we might have a fetish or a kink, and we really don't. It's just a normal whatever, but what's considered that, right? So I have something here.
Well, it's you get the definition.
Do you want the definition
Yeah,
first?
give us
And
the
then
definition of fetish.
Yeah, textbook definition.
Okay, so-
first.
fetish is a noun. Okay. An object such as a small stone carving of an animal believed to have magical powers to protect or aid its owner. Broadly, a material object regarded with superstitious or extravagant trust or reverence, an object of irrational reverence or obsessive devotion, an object of a bodily part whose real or fantasized presence of psychologically necessary for sexual gratification. That is an object of fixation to the extent that it may interfere with complete sexual expression. So it could get to the point where it's just not a healthy thing. So I have this one thing that I also like to just a brief history where it started in the origin. Did you have something to say?
No.
Well, wait. So before you read that, I'm gonna tell you the funny. So I'm looking at you. So people that at home that don't know, we're sitting in like a triangle. So I'm looking at you, Lou, and then Tom's hands looked like he was playing with his nipples while you were reading that. Like you just like it came up. You just sat like that, and it looked
Wow,
like
really?
Well,
no.
We're already
it was
starting.
getting me.
We're already going.
Ugh.
Wow. Okay. So, as I was saying, brief
just
history.
like a rub on the
Yeah. Oh, you're right over there in that corner, Tom. Yeah.
IRL, deep black.
Yeah, right. Lou was all serious. No. This is, it's Dr. Lou. Go ahead, Lou. I'm sorry. Lou.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, Lou.
it's all good. When fetishes first appeared in English in the early 17th century, it would refer to objects of amulets believed that contain of certain Western African or have supernatural powers. During the 19th century, the word took a broader meaning, an object of irrational devotion or reverence. The object needs to be physical. A person may have a fetish for an idea such as an unwarranted belief in a particular economic system will solve society's ills. By the early 20th century, fetish took on yet another meaning quite distinct from its ascendants. A sexualized desire for an object such as a shoe or for a body part that is not directly related to the reproductive act, such as an earlobe. So in other words, they have a fixation on that particular thing. You know, it could be feet. It could be, they could also go into, it could be a number of different things, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
it's just,
there's like people who have like the baby fetish where like they dress up like a baby.
Yeah, that's
and, like,
creepy, man.
And like
really,
and like the woman pretends she's the mom and like changes.
I know.
And it's like it gets really.
or you even have the ones that
deep.
dress up in the pet costumes too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
You ever see
seen
that?
those, bro?
They have the conventions, everything.
Oh, the furries.
The furries, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Fucking furries,
I don't know.
yeah.
Now listen, if it's not a fetish, fine. But I think the furries. If somebody looking on their phone, it's got
no, no. Well, no. Some furries are just like they like to dress up, like but like there's a furry, like a sexual furry fetish too.
I believe so. There is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You guys are hilarious.
And the number one fetish most people think of, I think, is like they think right away S&M,
Right.
Yes.
like dominatrix type
Dominatrix
stuff.
and all that stuff. Yeah, that stuff is. I'm
And then
good.
someone in like a
Not
gimp
into
suit
that,
with
you
the
know.
fucking with a tight gimp suit and just got like a fucking zipper for the mouth and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Here's another one too. I'm sorry. Recent examples of the web, the idea of a cannibalism as a real life fetish is disturbing.
Wait, cannibalism is a fetish?
Can be considered as a fetish.
Really?
So is
So-
that like maybe Jeffrey Dahmer was
Has a fetish for
cannibal?
secrecy.
yeah, word.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it could have been. I don't know, but he was a little bit more. There was, there were other factors involved. Obviously,
Yeah,
the guy
of course.
had a disturbing life to begin with, whatever was going on with that motherfucker.
Yeah.
See, that's funny because, I mean, think about it. So now anything that would be, if I understood what you read correctly, anything that we like to that extent. So music could be the fetish. Like you said, feet could be the fetish.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like you hear people use the term like audiophile, which is like, like they have an audio fetish, like they're obsessed with finer quality audio. I mean, I've heard some people that are like audiophiles, like they've talked about like saying that like, we think of like digital as good sound, but they're like, no, if you get a record player and it's got this air thing lift on it and it's all this high quality, and supposedly it sounds better than digital music.
See, but I thought that I didn't even know it was to what you're saying because I thought it was just hearing the crackle and popping on an album, an LP.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So what do you mean? Like,
So like when you play an album, when you play a record,
You'll get
on
that
vinyl. Yeah, you get that.
well,
Right.
supposedly if you have the super high end ones, you don't get that.
But like a Techniques turntable or something
Right,
like
yeah.
that, when they're
like-
mixing and everything.
right.
Like that's nothing. These like
Right.
they're
These are like
these
super.
like $10,000 record.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
crazy.
that it was. I didn't know that. That's insane.
Right. That's crazy. Now I got a medical definition, and let's be done with the definitions, and we can just go out and talk. But the reason I'm doing it this
Fucking
way is
walking
because
dictionary
there's-
over here.
Yeah.
it kind of explains. It kind of goes into it gives you an idea. So, medical definition: an object or bodily part whose real or fantasized presence of psychologically necessary for sexual gratification, and that is an object of fixation to the extent that it may interfere with complete sexual expression. So in other words, they get worked up on this one thing and they're still not
Mm-hmm.
getting what they need from or being able to express the way they should be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy how that one thing could just kind of disrupt the natural process of something and not allowing you to get to that point. You
Now
know
I'm
what I mean?
wondering if that was like OCD.
Yeah, I would think that would be the
know what I
same
mean?
thing, right?
Yeah,
'Cause, I mean-
OCD for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's a condition of
it's
some sort, right? I don't know if it would be considered a fetish because it's more of a just a behavioral thing, I think, in a sense.
Well, I guess then too, because of what you're saying for fetish.
Well, whose
if
phone is
fetish-
on? I mean, for Christ's sake, somebody look this up. I mean,
Well, no,
usually
I'm
he's
just
the
saying. No, I'm going by what you read in your definition is why I'm asking.
right. But see,
'Cause I got the other one. I have.
Well, I think
it's okay. We can look up stuff on our podcast.
I think OCD is more about. the word obsessive is
Compulsive.
compulsive.
Right.
Like they
Convulsive.
can't, like they can't like not like the counters. Like everything's got to be count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Okay. They got to count every like that's an or like I watched a thing like the woman was like she like would walk the house and she had to like touch the mailbox before she left. She had to touch the doorway. She had to like she had all these weird compulsions like but they're obsessive about the compulsion.
I used to do that when I was living in the city, and that's not because I lived in the city. I had my car, I had my Nissan at the time, and I would forget whether or not I locked the doors. So I used to make a habit of after I got done locking the doors, closing the window, I would look at the car, go, I locked the doors and the windows are closed, and then I would walk away, and I wouldn't have to worry about it.
But in living in the city, you had to.
Because if I got down the block, I'm like, shit, I got to go back because I can't remember now.
We all do that. Where like, it's like, did I close my garage door?
Right.
Yeah. You know, like, but I think with these people, it's like haunts them.
Right. They have to. It's a ritual. They have to do that routine.
Like they can't. Like
just
they
fucking throw them off.
Like,
where the hell's the mailbox? Oh, I just moved it across the hall. I thought maybe what the fuck.
All right. So then it wouldn't be like an OCD fetish stuff. All right. I get it. Now you have. So now the question was, we were talking last week, Tom, because we were talking about kink or kinky.
Yes.
Right.
So then how different is the kinky?
Well, the kink.
We'll do that.
I am the researcher here.
Yeah, damn Skippy. Because now kinky is I said it's more. I thought it was just more of I guess everything.
Okay. So this one doctor or person says he admittedly I've messed up on a stubborn me is willing to bruise the ego and say that I have been incorrectly using the words kink and fetish interchangeably. In other words, he used to think that one basically meant it was the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, but it wasn't. I really, so as someone who has taken part in kink and fetish acts myself, I never really put much thought into whether or not my partners were fetishes or not. Fetishists, I should say, or not. I kind of thought that most people think that if you're into it, not traditional sex, you can be considered both kinky and a fetish. No big difference. Check out the best. And then there is. Well, there is a difference, and I'm truly embarrassed. It took me so long to learn that. So this guy is saying all that time he thought one basically was like they both fell into the same category in a sense when they don't. You know, one's definitely more extreme than the other, and I think a kink is more playful. You don't need it all the time. Right. It's like once in a while. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, honey, put on the stockings or whatever it is that gets you both going. You know what I mean?
Just trying to spice
it up. So tonight we got a little kinky tonight. You know, it's not all the time we're a fetish. It's like in order for them to get satisfied or gratification,
they need to do that.
You know? Yeah. The act doesn't necessarily have to fall out the same way all the time, but they're just doing what. Yeah. Right. You know, and I'm sure it could be with different people too, because I'm sure it's not with just one person, and I guess it is too. I'm sure it can be.
Yeah, it's like like a kink would be like a kink would be like you know, I like when she dresses up in lingerie or ties me up, right? Right. But like a fetish would be like I can't be satisfied until I'm tied up, or, you know, whatever. Yeah.
See, that's wild. So that then, there's a show. The something love affair when people are in love with their car, or like they're trying to have sex with their car.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, a show now. Yeah, you never saw that, bro. Like they would just have all these crazy things. Like
guy, he had like a Ford Probe, like a red Ford Probe, and he was like
he was trying to have he was trying to have sex with it.
It was like his girlfriend. His car was
it was
that's
bananas.
different. That's The show was it was about obsessions or something like that.
It's called therapy.
No, that's what you need.
You need to go to therapy, okay? Because hey, I get it. If you're one of those people who, again, we're talking about fetishes and we're talking about kink, some people like to use, you know, they're into the sex dolls or whatever it is. You know
that's
what I mean? They even have the foot now, by the way.
The foot.
The actual, you can buy a sex toy, it's a foot, and you can actually have, a male can have sex with it.
Oh, it's got like a little like it's like a
and it vibrates, it does whatever.
It's a big toe.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I was joking around because when they were talking about it, I actually heard it on the fan on the radio, and they were talking about it. And I think what they were saying is that, you know, it's just a foot, right? So you have the ankle and the thing, and they're doing it through the top part of where the ankle is. Dude. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, if you're having a foot fetish, right?
Don't you want to go through the foot?
Wouldn't you want right? So
At the
I
heel,
said
like,
this.
put the hole at the heel.
I said this right, exactly. That's what I said. I said this Tanya, and my wife's like, "Really, babe?"
Yeah, for real.
I'm like, "This is what you think I'm for?" I'm saying, thinking logically, because technically, if I have a foot fetish, there's no way I can bang your ankle. Like I had a freaking this. It's got to be the foot,
But then
right?
I'd never
In the
seen-
sense that they showed on the actual sex
Maybe
toy
because
itself.
you can hold the feet and touch the feet.
Oh,
while
well,
you're,
you know what?
Oh.
Now that you put a little thought into it,
Yeah.
this is possible to think. You know, hey, this is working out pretty good, actually.
Yo, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't think I could.
I knew this
I
is
could rock with
not.
that.
I knew this was going to be as interesting. It was just going to,
But it's because
which is great.
because it's where your mind goes.
Right.
What we know as a fetish,
Right.
You know what we know a fetish to be, and then what you've just read,
Right.
You know that that wasn't where it started. You know that wasn't even what a fetish,
Right.
what the word meant.
It gradually took on more meaning as time went on. You know what I mean?
Hence the super crazy, like, people that were before us that changed this word.
Right.
I know that sounded like really. That didn't
Well, it didn't really change it.
No, I'm just saying it didn't sound like English. What I was just saying.
Right. I knew what you were trying to say,
Yeah.
but it didn't change it. It just expanded it. So now there's just more definition to it. It could also be,
Yeah.
and now it shit just falls underneath it, and we just keep adding to it. So, and here this gentleman explains. Let's start with kink. Exact definition of kink, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. I hope I pronounced that correctly, people. Is the unconventional sexual taste or behavior. Of course, even the term unconventional is subjective. One man's ball bag and whip me is another man's can we try doggy style. Jesus Christ. There's nothing wrong with being kinky, not one bit. For the most vanilla of folks, it can be viewed as perverse. My advice to you is that it is not sex. Well, I'm sorry. My advice to you is to not have sex with these people.
Yeah.
Right. Because if they think that their mind is already in an unhealthy place.
Right.
Because it's okay to have, that's what makes your life. As long as you're not hurting one another, this is the way I feel. You know,
Right.
do whatever you want. To each his own. I'm all for it. I could care less, bro. As long as you're doing it in your own time, your own bedroom, fine. If it just makes you feel and you're healthy and your life is good, all the power to you, bro. I don't care. It may not be for me.
Yeah.
But if it works for you, God bless you.
Well, then
you know what I mean?
But then that would make it the kinky, because there are some people that like to, that they like to get choked out. They, like to get the super spanking, whips and the chains.
Yeah, true.
But then that would be S&M, so that would be the fetish.
I guess it could fall in between. I guess.
But I think
in that
fetish
sense.
would be like, I can't get off
Like
unless
what-
my hair
unless-
is pulled.
Right, all the
Like,
time.
Yeah,
I knew
all
that
the
about
time.
you,
Right.
Tom.
But,
I
but
swear
like
to
you
God.
just said, the choking out thing, I think that could be a kink only because it's not all the time. Where fetish is, it has to be it's
Or
part
they
of the
can't.
ritual.
Yeah, they can't.
Right. They need to do it regardless. That's the way they have
Yeah.
sex, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is
Got you.
so. In other words, you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Where
I
kink,
got
you
you.
say, you know what? I feel like your girl turns around and say, I want you to pull my hair tonight.
Yeah.
Or smack me in my ass, or,
Yeah.
or whatever it is that you want her to do to you.
Yeah.
That's your business. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I want to get in it.
So what was I? Where was I? Kind of
Yes.
sexual intimacy between. Okay,
them all
so
up. Lost track.
anyhow, during sexual intercourse, kinks are seen as adding the sexual intimacy between two people. Like the magazine published articles. Here's how you can spice up your life.
Right.
Things up in the bedroom. And sex life is getting boring. Try this. You can be kinky without being a fetishist. Kinks are not seen as primary source of sexual pleasure. For example, if a partner is asking you to spank them during sex, like we were just discussing, you do. You're engaging in kinky behavior. You may love doing it, but it's not the spanking that gets you off. It's the person you are spanking and the enjoyment that they are getting from it. Furthermore, if you have sex without spanking taking place, no matter how much you love it, that's another sign that you are simply down to kink as opposed to a fetish. In other words, it doesn't always have to be all the time. So,
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And it's funny that you say that because this is how I view it. And I've always believed in as far as in order for me, let me say that I want to say this so I'm so basically I'm more concerned with how my partner feels than I am.
Yeah.
Because
right.
that is what is doing it for me.
Right.
If if everything's going well, I'm good.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Without having to get into anything.
Right.
So you follow what I'm saying. And to me, that's a very natural, healthy way of being, because you're not being selfish at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're thinking about your partner, which I think is super awesome.
Important.
You know what I mean?
Very important.
Where? So let's get the did you have something to say?
No.
Fetish next.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
A fetish at this point, I'm sure you have an inkling as what it means to be a fetist. If you still give the official definition from okay, well, let me get past all this bullshit. The definition fetish is an object of bodily. We did that already. Not exactly sure. Okay, sorry about this, guys. But it is true for many fetishes, acting on the sexual fantasies can be difficult depending on the particular fetish. Some can be harmful, others illegal. Others, overall, most fetishes are harmless. Kinks, fetishes intersect often, but a kink becomes a fetish when it's viewed as a primary source of sexual pleasure. In other words, you need to have it in order for you to get off.
Yeah.
In order for you to have that.
Right.
So, and we were just saying that. But it does. You can overlap one another, but it could lead into. It could go in that direction.
Right.
So it can turn out to be
exactly
a fetish.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. It's amazing how you could it could get out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a healthy person, or if you have other things going on in your life. I think, who was I discussing this with? I think it was with Tanya. I was saying, she goes, well, what do you think? Why do people? I said, a lot of times it's not because of something they're into. You have to remember, sometimes shit happens to people in their life, in their past.
Mm-hmm.
And it winds up taking a life of its own, and it becomes something that is part of that lifestyle. Because that's what's coming from whatever may have happened, good, bad, or different, whatever it might have been, or that experience, and that's where it leads to, and that's where most times not good,
right?
You know what I mean? Because it's just something that was disturbing, or something that happened, or maybe not. Sometimes it could be the other way around. Maybe something that you may have thought was actually okay, and then later on you just were able to say to yourself, you know what, this is actually not so bad. I was making more of a big deal out of it. This is very pleasurable to me, or exciting, or whatever it might be. Yeah. So I guess it could go both either ways. I don't want to say it's just one way or the other. What do you think? I mean, it's just crazy. Jersey guy. What do you think?
Yeah. No, funny because he's got that look. He's like,
He's just thinking, man. The wheels are fucking turning right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going home later.
Right. Because you know what? You can't sling the beef because you're a vegan.
Yeah, no.
See?
Oh, man. So how would you say that then?
What?
Don't get mad.
No.
How would you say? So how would you? You can't sling the beef. So what would be?
I'm gonna sling the fucking carrot, the fucking zucchini, sling the fucking
cucumber.
Cucumber.
There you go.
Oh, the eggplant. I mean, that's what everybody uses the fucking. That's what the fucking. That's what the emoji.
How you doing?
Hey, baby. Maybe some of this
eggplant.
Yeah.
But
what's some broccoli?
The emoji is a Japanese eggplant because that's more phallic shaped. Like you use an Italian eggplant, that just looks like a fucking.
You're gonna have problems.
Japanese, yeah.
You're gonna have problems. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, come on, take this out, zucchini.
Well, what is it you substitute food from meat? That you.
Well, it depends. There's all different
soy,
kinds
right?
Stuff. Yeah,
slinging the soy. Can you do that?
You can say it. I'm slinging the fucking soy.
Can you do?
And the stuff I've been getting into lately is
soy farts, soy good.
I use the soy curls. Those are fucking amazing.
I'm sorry, curly fries. What'd you say?
Soy curls.
Soy curls.
It's like basically they take the soybeans and it's like into this dried curl, it's fucking good. You season it.
I'm just saying that just didn't sound fetishy or
slinging
kinky.
The soy,
right?
Yeah, slinging
the soy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like my nipples didn't get hard.
No, I didn't do that for you. Understood. Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Not a big vegetable guy. I mean, I like vegetables, but
so
So I got a little bit more information here for you. So
yeah.
Okay. So sexual. Let's see. I'm sorry.
No, you don't.
Jesus. Opposed to plain combat. Okay. Traditional sexual intimacy entirely, for example, a foot fetish must make feet a part of the sexual experience and can often achieve climax solely through foot play as opposed to foot play in a combination with traditional sexual intercourse. Foot fetish is probably more specific about what exactly they love about feet, whether it's the shape, the toes, the smell, etc. The realm of the kink someone who enjoys feet might just like to lick or suck on toes. Generally, don't have over this appearance and feel of a foot. So that's interesting too. So they need to have.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So
For the sexual intimacy, and it turns them on, but it could be a certain part of the foot. It's just not the foot itself, toes or whatever, or the smell or anything. You got some stanky feet, baby. It smells good in the mind.
So something, I don't know. I read about it a while ago, or I heard about it. They say like a lot of fetishes have to do with something from your upbringing that can kind of trigger a fetish. So I say a lot of people with like feet fetishes. They were like around shoes a lot when they were kids or something like that.
Or
got
their asses kicked and they just like
But like a lot of stuff.
Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier about it could come from something that happened in your childhood or in your past, a trauma or something, or not even necessarily trauma, but just something that, like you said, the shoes or something, or your mother or somebody left certain pantyhose like I love fishnet stockings. Now I know my mother never wore them fucking things.
No.
All right.
I was like, no.
Man, that would have been just a horrible fucking vision to get rid of.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean.
But that was something for me that wherever I saw them, I won't say, but I love fishnet stockings, and that's one of the things. Not the big squares. I like the tiny ones.
I like the big squares.
See.
I don't.
Everybody's foot's different, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm just not into the stockings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's like whatever,
I get it. No, but I'm saying I was just using that as an example.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it. All right. So then now with what we know, with the definitions, of what is the crazy. Well, I guess what is the craziest kink or fetish you've ever heard, Tom?
I'm gonna say, I think the baby fetish. Yeah,
The
definitely.
baby, yeah.
And that's just where like you're in a crib,
Right.
And like, but I don't know.
That's just so creepy in all fucking levels, man.
Yeah.
And I would have to agree with him. If I was going to see any of them, that would be the one.
Yeah. No,
Because
Now a lot of people.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like I said, a lot of those fetishes don't involve sex. It just involves a woman, but there's no intercourse.
Right.
Like like it's
Someone plays the mom and all that other shit, right?
Yeah.
Changing their diaper and everything.
The
Why are we even
breastfeeding.
talking about
Yeah.
this?
Well, because
I get it.
That
I get
fetish.
it.
It's that
But that's kind of like, and again, I think that goes back to something that happened in your past, you were traumatized or something. You know what I mean? Like to get you to be it to something like that. You know what I mean?
The other one I find weird is the like sex slave one, like wanting to be a sex slave. And
that's like S&M stuff.
Or like S&M stuff. I remember watching on HBO when they had those real sex shows. Remember?
Right.
Yeah,
and
I used
the
to
guy
love them.
was like, and she was just. They were interviewing the dominatrix like lady, and right next to him is just like this gimp, and he's got his mouth open. She's just ashing the cigarettes in his mouth.
Oh, you got to be
And
kidding me.
She's like, "What's that like?" And he goes, "Ashtrays don't talk." And they just like, fucking say anything to her.
But so now dig it. I do know that people, right? They are, so let's say like presidents of companies, there's somebody that's always the boss, CEOs, whatever.
Yeah.
They are always in charge.
They need to get knocked down.
So then they go and they find these things so that this way, or have people do these things with them, to them, however you call it.
So do they do that to keep their egos in check?
No, they do that because they need a break.
Oh, okay.
So in other words, they're taking the role the opposite way, is what you're saying.
Because I walk into the house. I walk into the office and it's like, hey, Tom, did you get this paperwork done? Did you get this report done? Hey, Lou, did you go over? And,
so now you go to your girlfriend's house or meet her at the hotel, and now it's the opposite.
It doesn't have to be your
they have
significant
S&M
other
places.
Right.
It's not prostitution because there's no intercourse.
Right. It's just for you it's just for that.
Like a role play type thing.
It's role playing, but where you are the
right.
like there's a dominant.
You're flip flopping.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You're just switching up who you are. So you're not the dominant person in your circle. And
you're submissive.
Yeah. You're the submissive. You're the sub in this whole thing.
Right.
So that would be the fetish. Like Tom, you just said. It doesn't have to do with sex,
and it doesn't have to do with sex.
Right.
You don't need to. Right.
It's just what you need to.
Right.
You got to get away to break from that. I would get on a bike and I would just on a motorcycle and haul ass down the road and that's going to clear my mind and I'm going to feel better and everything's good. Somebody else needs to, be the slave. They need to be the sub,
Right.
And it also could be, if we're going to do then sexually, because then that's where it would be that your significant other would be that person to be, your the dominant in the relationship as such. So, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, there's some crazy shit out there. This is disgusting, and there are people out there who like to get crapped on.
Yes,
that's a fetish.
That shit is crazy.
That shit's crazy. Like how does that hell?
Be peed on.
What
too.
the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened to you?
Well, golden showers is the pee.
But I'm saying,
right.
What?
So that then that was just. It's not. I don't even think it was so much of what. That it's something happened to you.
Something had to happen.
Man.
Listen, I cannot imagine that is something you would come up with on your own. I would have to think that it had to be something during the time when you were a kid growing up. Something happened that traumatized you to the point where that's what triggered that type of behavior for you to get off or feel like
to feel
the way I think. I'm not saying that it's not, but it's just off the wall.
That because when you be you're the submissive one now in the relationship,
right?
You know what I mean? So it's I think when somebody gets spat on, you know what I mean? It's somebody who's like that bully. I'm making you do this. I'm making you do that.
Gotcha.
So then now if you're the dominant person in everything in your life, then now you need to feel,
what it's like not to be the dominant.
Right. You know what I mean? So that's probably what it is. That's, again, though.
Human behavior is fucked up, man.
Yeah. It's the mind. It's how the mind works. It's what you're thinking about. It's how you feel.
Listen, you are a product of...
definitely.
From the time you grow up, from whatever's going on in your house, I think the main thing most people show that I know I knew from myself, just in general, talking in life in general.
Yeah.
Either you accept had happened or what's going on in the life that you had growing up, whatever it might have been, or you let it bug you and you fight it.
Right.
You're constantly trying to not.
Right.
Which makes it worse.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. So what you need to do...
That's how we were brought up, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was our mental.
But it took
for you, Tom.
For me, it took me a while to get to that point, but eventually I got there. And I think it was just time, being more experienced in life, and getting older, and just...
Right, yeah, and you learn to do it. Like, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. Makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
So was that something that you had, growing up? You said, because you're a couple.
You don't have to go into
years
detail
younger than
or anything, of course.
No, I'm just saying, it's like you're a couple of years younger than we are. So for us, it's like, there's nothing wrong with you. Get up, get out there, and go get a job.
Right.
Get over this bullshit. Like, that was the kind of like the mentality. Whereas, was it a little bit nicer for you, I guess?
Yeah, it was different growing up. Yeah, because, I didn't get that, it's like, all that stuff.
Yeah, because now like we say, so there was an Maury Povich on his show. He used to have where people would come out and they would say, Tom, when we were kids, Tom used to bully me, and I didn't, I and now I'm this person, and he made fun of me, how whatever. So that then there was this one episode with his girl. She was the nerdy looking, and whatnot. When she was in school, they brought the bully on. So the bully says, I made you who you are. Because had
I
not
saw
been
that
for
episode.
me,
That was such bullshit.
I don't know, man, because it made us stronger.
Yeah, but it doesn't always work out that way.
It doesn't. No, wait. All right. So
9 times out of 10, it goes the other way.
Well, right. No. I'm not saying that it always works out. But it was that little bit of something that still kept you from losing your shit altogether. You know what I mean? That you had that person in the back of your head. I mean, I feel that to an extent. I was bullied and I was a bully.
Yeah, I was both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, me
so,
too.
It's one of those things like
So we're both.
we used it to our advantage.
Right.
So that this way, we're not sitting back in the corner with a list of people.
I don't know if we used it. I don't know if we used it for... I can't say I used it for my... Well, I guess maybe, in a sense, because at the time, at that moment, you were doing it for that reason, whatever it might have been.
Right.
What I was trying to say earlier in reference to your upbringing, the things that go on in your house, things that, whatever, how your parents talk to one another, how you lived, whatever it is. Sometimes even those things have an effect, is what I was also saying, to whatever was going on in the household. is it what also makes you a product of who you are in your environment.
Definitely.
And then eventually you need to figure out who you are and say, okay, that's not me. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And then that other stuff, you just have to say, you have to accept it because, hey, it is what it is. You're not changing it because it's not going away anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. So either accept it or you're going to be miserable all your fucking life.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, all day long.
Right.
All day long. So so now, you know what? I'll do this. So you being a vegan,
Yeah.
now would that be a fetish, I guess? In a sense? You know, you get listen to what I'm saying though, because like, was it that meat was a turn off? Was it something that you saw that was like a? You get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, people don't do and or eat certain things because it was a turn off.
Right. Right.
So that then, you know, with something that you just said, well, I'm just gonna go and try it, and then you stuck with it.
No, I mean, mine was more involved with like animal rights and stuff like that. Yeah. It was never food related at all. Like, I mean, I used to be a big time food. Like, I think like 3 weeks before I went vegan, we went to an expensive steakhouse in the city, and I got like an $80 steak or some shit. Like
Okay.
that. Yeah. So it was more animal rights. I saw stuff, and I just didn't want to be part of it anymore. But it was never like food related. I mean, the fun part about before we don't go off topic, like going vegan was
No, go ahead, please.
Was like trying all these new foods and trying these new things. It was like kind of exciting. So, but yeah, I totally like it was never food related.
It was more for because you were looking, you were taking a stance in reference to the animals and protecting them, and because of what was actually going on with them versus it wasn't, because you tell me this all the time, and again, not to get off subject, but vegan is not a diet.
Right.
It's more of
it's like a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's about
it's about not exploiting animals,
right,
or participating towards the exploitation of animals. Right. Yeah. Like a lot of people like think it's some people think it's about animal cruelty, and which is all horrible, but at the end of the day, it's not, because you can. You know, it's not about exploiting animals at all, because, you know, there's an argument like, oh, well, we have a farm where the animals are kept nicer and they don't have big cages. And like yeah, I understand, like, that's it. Less suffering is better than more suffering, but I don't want any suffering. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't want to partake in any. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I don't think personally I wouldn't consider it a fetish. I think it's just I think it's a life choice. It's really more of what it is, honestly.
All right. So now then you give a non-sexual fetish that you think you have.
Do I have?
Yeah.
A non-sexual fetish? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have a fetish, so that's we'll
oh, you have a few fetishes.
No, I don't have any fetishes.
Yeah.
I'll move on from that. Anyway, I made a promise.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Not that I can think of, and I think if I did, I think I would know right off the top of my head. Right. I don't think so. If I do remember the next podcast, I'll just make a quick reference to it and say, "Hey, remember when you asked me such?" And then I'll bring it up. But I'll have to think about that one for a little while, because honestly, I can't think of anything.
The what?
You think you have a non-sexual fetish?
Well, the thing is, I have ADHD, so like I tend to like. ADHD? What? No. Oh, I get it. Sorry. No, but no. So like, one of the things that happens is what a lot of people at ADHD is we will like obsess over something,
right,
and then move on to another thing and obsess over that and deep dive into it, or we study like you know, I've been like talking about cannabis. Like I got the Leafy app. I'm studying, figure out what terpenes are,
right,
in the marijuana. You know, figuring out what indicas. You know. Sativas, and I know like know everything, and then eventually I get bored with it, and then I find something else to obsess over. Right. That's just because like with ADHD, the main like reason what ADHD is like your body has dopamine. Dopamine is you do something that makes you happy, and it gives you blissful, and it gives you satisfaction. So with people with ADHD, they have a dopamine deficiency where like that dopamine, like that, it goes away fast.
I was just saying, it only lasts for a certain amount of time.
And then you're so like that's why you'll see people like with ADHD, they'll fidget and do stuff like that, because you got to keep that you get bored easily. Like that's basically what it is. Like you just go to boredom like super quick. So we're all, people with ADHD, their mind is always going, always thinking of different things. So,
Right.
but like, in order to keep that like dopamine, you all of a sudden find it something you're interested in, you just start dive deeping and learn everything about it and doing like kombucha. Like kombucha is
Like when you started making it.
yeah, I was making this. That was one of the
Right.
things that happened. I got all into it. I got the book for it. I started
Just in case you don't know, kombucha is a drink. Just so you know.
Yeah, it's a fermented drink. They sell it in the produce aisle. But it's like it's like probiotic. It's really healthy. But it's fermented tea. Anyway, finding out how to do this, how to make that, and like, I got this continuous brew. I bought this giant, vat, and I was making them continuous brews
Right.
and all this kind of stuff, and and eventually kind of. Well, I was also I kind of just like faded out. Like I wasn't obsessed with it anymore.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, and I think we all have that to a certain extent. I think that's
But with people
normal
with
for
ADHD, it's like
but I think
dive
it
deep,
definitely goes a little farther than
Yeah,
that when you
exactly.
get that. And I was just thinking about you with the fidget
Yeah,
thing.
the fidget spinners.
So I think that kind of falls under that when you think about it, the ADHD.
Right. Yeah,
it
yeah,
probably
yeah.
does.
Oh, sure.
Because
Yeah.
you
Oh,
need
yeah.
that to kind of keep your thing going.
Right.
Otherwise. Someone's getting choked out.
Like right now,
It's
I'm
inevitable. If we don't have to, where the fuck is this fidget thing right now?
Yeah, give him one.
Get it. Hurry up.
Yeah.
Right, and even right now, like I'm doing this, so I'm just shaking back and forth in the
Yeah.
chair like a
Well,
little
that's
kid.
like the tapping the foot
But
thing.
yeah, but
or
what that does is that they call that stimming. A lot of people, it's even more extreme with people who are autistic. But like it's stimming or fidgeting, they call it. But it's just self-stimulating, just
Right.
to like, you know what I mean? Because I don't know how to describe it. Like,
I totally understand what you're saying.
Like if you see someone like doing that, you think they're distracted, but actually it helps me focus, which
Right.
is really bizarre.
in order
Right.
for them
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
it's funny you say about autism because Tanya's nephew, or I should say my nephew as well, he has autism, and he could sit on that phone and watch a video, whatever it is on YouTube, whatever, and go back exactly to the same point every time he rewinds that, right back to the same spot, right back to the same spot, perfectly. Like it's just amazing. So what you were pointing out too, like that's what's giving him satisfaction, and he's getting it. He's got it down. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. It's funny that we already branched out into like a whole bunch of different other things as far as human behavior. And it makes sense because we're a complicated fucking being,
It's
and
like
we're
more
pretty
of
fucked
a
up. Just saying.
psychology episode.
Yeah.
We can go that way. We can go that route.
Because I mean, like for me listening, and I'm that guy, I just hear like ADHD and then the fetishes, and they sound so similar to me, but then I'm off my rocker too.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not to say that none of those things, in some way, one way or another, are related, but not directly related. In other words,
okay. Fair enough.
in other words, to say
The same spectrum.
right. In other words,
Yeah,
it could have some kind of.
Yeah, I get it.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
But but that's the main cause of why you're about But it does explain why you have ADHD, or
Right, yeah.
it could, you have a couple different things going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. Because like I said,
Right.
it's just things that you do to cope, to
Right.
make you feel better. So like I said, so now think about it. If what you're saying about ADHD and the dopamine,
Yeah.
so now people are doing that in their fetish to get that
I guess it's
dopamine
the same.
feel. Right. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, that's how I just associate it.
No, that makes
I'll
sense.
probably get kicked in the teeth later. Somebody
No,
will
I
tell
don't
me,
think
like,
so.
I'll get somebody be like, really, crackhead?
No,
Like, that's
no.
what the fuck that shit
I think that
was.
makes a good point because when you're thinking about it, it's basically the same goal. They're all looking to get satisfied in one way or
Right.
another.
Yeah.
One's a little bit more extreme than the other for based on whatever reasons they have. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I would think I have to agree with that. You're basically looking to get satisfied in one way or another by whatever
Right.
behavior you're choosing to use.
Hell yeah. Listen.
It's just
So then, again, it's
good
make
stuff.
yourself happy. Do what you need
that's
to
what I'm
do
saying.
for
Teach
you to
his
be
own, bro.
happy.
As long as you don't hurt anybody.
Yeah, well, unless they deserved it, then, it's whatever.
Yeah, well,
Look at Tommy, he was like, yeah.
That's a whole other podcast. No, I'm only kidding.
Hang him up.
I won't get in trouble for that.
We can't divulge.
Yeah, no.
No. What? No, it wasn't me. No, that was just for the podcast. That should never happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I never choked the shit out of her. No, sorry, officer. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but it's apologies just so to everyone on the podcast listening. I will do a better job next time as far as reading off on the paperwork.
Memorize that shit, motherfucker.
Just so I'm not wasting any time and just picking up air or anything.
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
it was cool because it was one of those. It's one of those things. You know, there's so many different for one word. There was like 4 different, four different meanings. You know, and even with kinky. So kink would be the slang, or kinky is just a slang,
Right.
and it really means a muscle spasm. You know, or a knot in the wires that are sitting here with our microphones or whatever. You know, that's what a kink is. So then the slang is like, no, man, it's like, you know, you turn around and, you know, two in the pink, one in the stink. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, jeez. It took a totally different meaning. And it just expanded. The definition just keeps growing and growing and growing. And it's like, you know, which is, you know, that's how many words do we have that are like that? And then in the English language, you know what I mean?
One word, 10 meanings.
I remember a teacher saying, like, she was like threatening as like a punishment, you know, for acting bad. She's like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make you go in the dictionary and you have to rewrite all the definitions for run. And I was like, really? I was like, there's like 42 definitions for run.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
Wow,
It was
that's awesome.
Yeah. But that was enlightening.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
It was
one of those things,
for sure.
Know? But you know me, I'm an asshole. I'm gonna run up to people. Oh, you got a fetish, you kinky bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just to the guys at work, because it's gonna be funny to fuck to me. But whatever, you know.
It's good stuff, man.
But again, appreciate you guys being here. All of us getting together,
Of course,
making this happening. Yep.
Make sure you go to Facebook, everyone. Check out the page where you know I've been on that and putting stuff up as much as I could. So
Facebook, Instagram, get on.
Yep.
You know, send us your comments and all that other good stuff.
Yep.
Like and follow us on everything. We're on every platform except for Pandora and iTunes.
Well, we wouldn't get on that anyway, but yeah, you're right.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, we're on everything, so you can find
I
us
think
anywhere.
we're all right. We're good.
Yeah.
And said, follow us, you know, Cottman, Crawford, and the Jersey guy, and Jay guy. And, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, if you want to, you know, have a question, like I said, we would love to do like a mailbag episode. We just have to get more, you know, send us a message on Facebook, send us an email. You can send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah.
Either way.
We're checking in all the time. So yeah, whatever you guys do, we definitely, and we'll bring it up. We'll make sure we have, you know, we'll discuss it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Because they said we should have, you know, it'd be cool, you know, come back to, you know, give something back to our listeners, you know, because we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all that other good stuff. So, gentlemen, listeners, it was a pleasure. Thank you. See you in the next episode. It's Keny Cottman.
It's Lewis Crawford, but you
oh,
messed it up, man. This is the beginning, bro.
Peace and hair grease. What happened?
We're gonna have to forgive him for this, ladies and gentlemen.
Love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
And go vegan.